Hello. Hi, Vanna. Say hi. No? Resting. Hello, everyone. So, I just shared an old post I wrote, actually, on my Unlocking Humanity Substack. And I don't know, weirdly, I was nervous to share it on here because I've been feeling like it's an interesting thing. I really like Substack as a platform, and it's one of the only like platforms that specifically highlight writing. Like YouTube is like, video, and like Instagram, TikTok, everything caters, well, not everything, but like most things nowadays cater to video and visuals and like pictures, or you know. And so I remember I sat here for like months. I had gotten a Substack account, and I was just on there like looking at posts and like unsure, should I write, should I not? I don't really know how this platform works, and I'm nervous. And so for months I stood there, and I was going on the platform, but I wasn't writing anything, I wasn't sharing anything, because I was too afraid. I think I wrote and I posted my first post on here. Hold on, I'm gonna look to get an exact date because I don't. July, at the end of July, I decided to share, to start just sharing on there. And I started off with posts from my original Unlocking Humanity blog. And so I was just like, I'm just gonna, post, see how it does. I listen. I've been on Substack for, some months now, since July, posting. And I'll be honest, it's a little hard to get, attention on Substack. But in a weird way, because I'm like, I feel like we're in this era of like, we got the YouTube, the Instagram, the TikTok, the things that kind of, condition us to really be searching. Okay, so I realized I never got to like finish that thought because my precious baby over here started barking, and I just, by the time she stopped, Mom was back inside. So I'm gonna try to finish that thought about Substack. I was saying that we're kind of in this time period of like with social media. A lot of people we're very sensitive to the numbers, like how many views we're getting, how many likes we're getting, and stuff like Instagram and TikTok and everything kind of emphasizes that type of focus. I don't, yeah, it's like when we post something to share on like TikTok or Instagram, or like even YouTube, there's this sense of if you're posting for people to see it, you really want people to see it. You really want people to like it. And there's this risk of comparison because you're seeing other people posting and you're seeing people like other people's posts. You're seeing people comment on other people's posts and you're seeing, you know, it's very easy to start comparing yourself and start feeling bad when you're not getting as many views or like likes that you want. And I feel like for me with Substack, it's been interesting because I've been sharing on it. And listen, I don't get many views. I don't get many views. For the majority of the things I have posted, I have been the only one to like them, right? But there's almost a contentment with that. Like there's almost a sense of all right. Like so and then it's just like because it's so used to like not getting likes, not getting, you know, when I get them or when someone actually like subscribes to my newsletter, my page, it's like, oh my gosh, really? Like, oh my gosh, someone liked me. Like, I don't want to say it like I'm just, it's just like it feels really good. Like it feels like someone actually connected with what I said. That's and it's a good feeling. And it's like when I don't get likes or views, I'm just chilling. I'm like I'm just posting to post. I'm just sharing to share. I'm doing this for me right now. And I feel like when you're doing something for yourself, you don't feel as much like even if you want people to see it, there's not as much of a need for that validation. Like there's not as much of a need for I need people to see this. I need people to like this. I need people to like validate that I'm doing a good job. There's not as much of that. And I think in terms of Substack, that's been helping me a lot with that because let's face it, I struggle a lot with comparison. I don't talk about it much, but I do. There's always just kind of this sense of I need to be doing more. I need to be posting more. I need to be doing things that I can show people to prove that I'm doing something so that they can look at it and see, oh yeah, she's doing such and such and such and such and she's achieving this and it's oh man, yo, it's exhausting. It's just it's not a good headspace to be in. It's not. It's because when you are doing things, there's a lot of our journeys, I feel like, especially like a lot of our growth is done in isolation. And so a lot of growth, a lot of good things happen when you're like alone and it's not something you really can post or share. Like it's not a physical thing. Sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's spiritual, sometimes it's mental. A lot of growth happens and it can get it's easy to get a little bit insecure, especially in this day and age when it's like everyone's posting something, everyone's sharing something, everyone is doing something, and it feels like we're not doing enough. But we are. like, but we are. we're still growing, we're still learning, we're still exploring, we're learning to love ourselves for who we are and spread that love to others. Like, we're deepening our relationship with God. We're trying to understand who we are, how we connect with things. Those are all huge. Like, those are all really big. And can I just say this? If we are on that journey of self-discovery, self-awareness, self-love, learning to love ourselves and others as we are, it's a lot of people are not very self-aware. And a lot of people are afraid to be self-aware because when you start that journey of really learning and like going deeper into yourself, who you are, like why you do the things you do, why you feel the way you do, there's things you discover about yourself that a lot of people are afraid of what they would find. A lot of people are afraid of what they would find. They don't want to look deeper. That's not everybody. But it's like there are a lot of people who don't really want to look deeper because it's hard, especially in like a situation where, let's say, like either you find out that you've actually been the one self-sabotaging yourself and you can't actually blame anybody else for whatever situation you're in. People hate that. It takes a lot of strength to look at yourself and own your decisions, like take accountability for like your own behaviors and your own decisions that you made that led you to this point. Because sometimes it's not anyone else's fault. Sometimes it is us. Sometimes it is a situation where like you look at yourself and you realize, yo, I have a lot of self-worth issues. Like, I will say for myself, I've come to the realization recently that I have for a long time been dealing with a lot of self-worth issues. And that is, that's, yo, it's hard. I came to the realization that I unconsciously developed like this idea that I had to be more than who I am in order to be worthy of love or worthy of good things. Because I grew up with this sense of, especially in relationships, and I don't just mean like romantic like partners. This is friendships too. And it's just, it was this sense of not feeling like I'm enough, not feeling like I know there's a good way to put this. It's I'm trying to remember without going back in that headspace. And I think that's that's what my hesitation of speaking is it was that I remember like whether it be a breakup or it's like it's somebody I really want to befriend, but they don't reciprocate that desire to be friends with me, or like I've seen, like, as time goes by, like friends just kind of walk in and out of life with that. And there was just this internal sense of like, what's wrong with me? Why, like, why am I so replaceable? Why am I not enough for people? And then there's also the flip side of that where it's like almost feeling like I'm too much for people. And it's because I grew up, I used to have, I still have it. I've just, over the years, I felt like I've masked this a bit. I get very, very enthusiastic to befriend people who catch my attention, who I feel like a connection to. And I get so nervous when that happens now, because looking back at a very specific situation that comes to mind with this, actually, you know what, multiple situations that come to mind, but this one specifically, because I don't know, every time I think about this, I felt like my enthusiasm for befriending or really wanting to connect with people made me weird. And it's because I had situations where I was called weird for it. Like I would be so enthusiastic and really wanting to connect with this person, and then it's like I get met with this kind of rejection, and I feel like it was such a pattern that it just made me very, very hesitant, because I started feeling like I'm too weird for people to want to befriend me. If I show how much I really want to connect with this person, they're gonna see me as weird and they're gonna pull away. And honestly, that's stupid. I just I gotta call myself out for a moment, because I'm just like putting myself in like on the other side of that. I wish people would show that much enthusiasm to want to get to know me. Like, to actually want to get to know me and to like be around me. Like, I would love that. So there's bound to be people who would also love that, right? Like, every every time I see like a character on TV who's just like they what's a shame is they're often like the character who gets like, they're a little bit slow, right? It's fine. But they're often very like upbeat, enthusiastic people, and they're like I love them. I love them so much. It makes my life. My girl, what's it, Tulip from Electric Bloom, my kind of girl. I love her so much. I'm just like, she was so ready to be Posey and Jade's best friend, and I'm like, yes, that's. I had nowhere near as much energy as her personality wise, but I'm just like, I love that enthusiasm. I wish somebody would be that enthusiastic to get to know me and be my best friend. Like, what? I love it. I love it so much. So I feel like I need to just, I need to remember that. Like, I need to remember that there is literally no good reason for me to be shaming myself for really liking someone or really liking something, because I also got messed for being enthusiastic about like some of my interests. Like I love fictional characters. We all know this. If you don't know me, you don't know this, but I've mentioned it multiple times on this page. I am very, very drawn to characters, and in a way, they were kind of like they were kind of a safe space for a very long time, because like I grew up as an only child. I was alone a lot. I found a lot of like comfort and connection through media, TV shows, movies, books, games that are based on my favorite shows and movies. I love those things. My imaginary friends. I listen. I don't think that the people who poked fun at my interests, like whether it be my love of certain characters or my love of like singing or even writing or fan fiction. Like I used to read a lot of fan fiction. I don't think people really meant any harm. Like I really think they were just playing with me. Um but at the same time, having having been a person who talks very like I know I probably kind of have a semi monotone type of sounding voice, but as someone who talks very enthusiastically about the things that I am interested in, you could just kind of feel when someone isn't, right? Like this is separate from the people who actually poked fun at my interests. I'm gonna give them a pass right now just because I'm like, I don't in any way think that they meant any harm, and it didn't, like in the moment it didn't affect me that much either. I was just like, like I brushed it off. We're like it's like I went to Duke Ellington. I was in the vocal music department. Somebody I used to date used to always talk about like, oh, vocalists. Like, you know, it's not much. Like elementary school, humans would poke fun at. I was a Bakugan fan. Shun was my favorite character. Humans would poke fun at the pronunciation of his name and like intentionally mispronounce it just to get on my nerves. But it's just like it's all fun. Past that, this ain't about them. You can just, when you're really enthusiastic about something and you're talking about it, I feel like there's a moment you can just kind of tell when somebody is not interested in what you're saying, or they're just like, oh yeah. So like as a whole, it's just seeing people be uninterested in what I'm saying, it made me a little bit more hesitant to talk about stuff, because it's like you never really know, and it's kind of discouraging when when people don't seem to like really care. While talking, I had just a flashback to my cousin so who grew up with me, saying I was like boring because I was that kid. I was quiet, I was introverted, I was very much into my own thing. I was into, my reading, or I all of my creative endeavors, whether it was writing or drawing or like making stuff, singing, I was into all of that. And I was also very much I loved being in my own imagination. I loved imagining possibilities, whether it was like I'm driving in a car, I'm imagining myself like running, jumping, flying, like meeting up with any character from any any show or movie I just particularly loved. Or it's just I can just sit there and just be in my head and just I'll be anywhere but where I actually am in that moment. I'm like, whether I'm like soaring with the fairies or Neverland and Pixie Hollow, whether I'm chilling with I don't know, Wilbur Robinson or Lewis, like we're inventing something new together. Like that was the age of Meet the Robinsons, and I was there. A part of me wanted to be an inventor for a while because everything I watched, I was like, I want to do that. um, I've been through so many creative phases, and they just kind of nowadays any creative like thing that I'm into just kind of cycles. Like I'll be really into like writing poetry for like a few days, or really into fiction or blogging, or maybe I'm singing is every day. Singing is every day all day. As long as I don't have to perform, singing is every day all day. Um Drawing, every now and then I get really back into animation and I'm just like, ooh, I gotta try to do this thing. Um oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. That's insane. No, but I had a very clear flashback of my cousin calling me boring because I was that person who was like, why don't we just sit here and imagine stuff? And um my cousin was more of a hands-on, let me do a whole bunch of stuff person. As when we were younger, she's a lot more reserved now, but I still think that's of like, I just still have a feeling she'd look at my lifestyle and be like, Priya, do you do anything? Yes, I do. I'm doing something all the time. It's just not big and flashy. um but yeah, I was always I loved being imaginative and exploring like characters and character relationships and stories, and like characters and stories were my safe place. They just have always just kind of felt like home in a way. I feel like that has shaped so much of my viewpoint on life and on people because I spend so much time with characters that I naturally learn to see them as like full, complex, nuanced beings who are going through life and whose emotional journeys and history shape their, you know, their thought patterns, their behaviors, their. I'm thinking this is the last day I'm gonna be trying to film this because it's crazy that I have 4 completely different looks throughout this video. It's been like weeks at a time. That's crazy. But anyways, I feel like having spent so much time with like characters, it's like I've I've learned to see them as like really complex, nuanced beings like people are, because they are reflections of people. They're reflections of humanity to me. And it's interesting because in a way I'm like, I feel like we all kind of have that understanding that, like, we as people are nuanced and complex. But I feel like a lot of times we recognize that about ourselves, and yet sometimes it's like people go into situations where they're with other people or like interacting with other people, and it's like they somehow forget that, yo, this is another human being. This is another living being who is just as nuanced and complex as you are. Like, people who are forever in the comments bad mouthing and trashing people online confuse me, because it's like, just because you're typing it into a computer and you're not interacting with someone doesn't mean there's, like, if you're not interacting with someone directly doesn't mean there's not somebody on the other side of that screen who is reading it. Like, imagine, put yourself in their shoes. If you put yourself out there, or you made a mistake, or you did something, is that the way you would want somebody to respond to you, you know? Anyways, I I just needed to get that out. But anyways, in terms of characters, I feel like they end up being easy for a lot of people to kind of just brush off as like some kind of an archetype. Like, I've gotten many times, you know, like I've gotten multiple times, Bray, you know they're not real, right? You know they're not real, right? You know they're fake. But it's like, gosh, I'm like, do y'all take the time to like really sit with the story and sit with like the characters and recognize like their emotional journeys, their character arcs, their relationships, and like the little, something I really love is like watching actors and character animated, the micro expressions that on their face. It's just all their voices. It's so, there's just something beautiful about characters to me. There's just something about the way that they are able to just exist as themselves, and people can look at them and see themselves in them, and it's, they reflect humanity. It's beautiful. I love that. And I feel like I've kind of just, I think in a way I've become a little bit not nervous to express that interest, but just when I'm with my friends who already know me, I'm perfectly fine being my little fangirl of a self. Or like if I'm with my mom, like my mom's seen me, my mom knows me, she's gonna have to deal with me anyway. I'm a fangirl. It's fine. But I do get a little bit hesitant to just live in that, and I'm getting past it. I'm getting past it. I think it is just that, do people care? I know there are, but it's just like, when you've been, like, when you have shown like a lot of enthusiasm for something and you've constantly been met with the kind of disinterest, it's easy to just kind of, it's like, mentally I'm very much aware, there's other people out there like me who care about like characters and stories just as much as I do. But it's just getting past that like initial hesitation to like openly live in that and share it. And that just kind of, for me, is my journey. And that goes back to at the beginning of this video, I said I was nervous to post something on Substack, and it was basically my prediction for the new Avatar Seven Havens series. I have a prediction about what is going on, and I posted that on Substack, and I was nervous, and I think it's because, going back to what I said about I need to be, I don't think this is necessarily a I need to be more than who I am type of deal. It's just, I felt like on Substack specifically, it's like there's a lot of long form writing on there, and that's a beautiful thing. Like, we need spaces where people can just write. But I was like, is this like enough? Like, is this thing that I said enough? And I think it's just this journey of creation recently has just been a journey of recognizing I'm enough. The things I like are enough. The things I love are enough. All right, so I'm gonna end this with the moral of the story. For those of us who are on this self-discovery journey, this journey of self-awareness and personal growth and development, and just learning to really genuinely love ourselves, that's enough. That's enough. You're not behind. I know that there's a lot of people that they're out here, they're doing things that are more like applauded, and they're being seen, and they're, getting pats on the back, and they're getting their likes, and they're getting their shares. You're exactly where you need to be right now. And the fact that you are on this journey already shows how strong you are, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right, so yeah, the lesson I've been needing to hear, I give to you as well. You're enough. Who you are is enough. You are lovable exactly as you are. Your interests are enough. The things you love are enough. The things that light you up, that's enough. Follow those things that light you up. I feel like God put me in this season of isolation because I've been so naturally attaching my worth to external development, and not development, like external validation, and things outside of myself, and I know a lot of us do that. But we are already enough for existing. We are already God's masterpiece. So for anyone else who needed to hear it, you're enough. And you are worthy of love as you are. So, yeah, anyone who got to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you have an amazing day. All right. Bye.